and welcome to Generals on the March, a storytelling podcast focusing on the story of Washington Athletics through sit-down interviews with athletes, coaches, and alums to explore the athletic stories that define the history of our institution and the people that have contributed so much to our athletic teams over the years. My first guest today is Will Knight, a captain for our football team, first team All-ODAC 2025. And really, honestly, personally, someone that I look up to, have a great amount of respect for. And, I kind of knew right from the beginning that he was going to be the guy I asked to be on the first episode of my podcast. So to start off, Will, if you can remember all the way back 5 years ago when you were looking at schools, I was wondering what made Washington stand out to you, and if you could walk us through that and, what made you decide to come here.
Sure. And thanks for having me here.
Yeah.
Hopefully get the ball rolling. It's the first guest. Hopefully I'm interesting. The first time I came here, I'm just some background. I'm from Durango, Colorado. Neither of my parents went here, so I was not familiar with the university and heard about it the first time when one of the old offensive coordinators, Coach Bobby Jones, I got a DM on Twitter from him. And that's how I found out about W&L and ended up getting an offer before coming out here. But came and visited with my father without, it was during the summer. No one was really on campus. I think instantly kind of taken aback about how pretty of a campus it is and everything. But I think ultimately what really pulled me towards the school was just like the quality of education here, class sizes, alumni network. It's such a strong network, and I think a lot of people say that. I'm sure the people listening to this podcast will certainly agree with it. So, no, I was going to go to the best school I could get into, and fortunately it was Washington Lee. So that's why I'm here.
I think that's pretty similar for a lot of the athletes that end up here because, when you look at Division III, this level of athletics, academics, I think we attract a lot of similar people than some of the other schools, but I do think we have some things that do set us apart, and I think you hit on a lot of them with the small class size. It's such a pretty place to live, Obviously, being from the South, I haven't seen as much snow on the ground as we've had the past couple of weeks. But, there's a lot to love here. And obviously, the follow-up to that is that now as you're in your winter term of your senior year, how much of that has remained with you? How much of the initial impressions that drew you to this place, how many of them have stuck with you? And what's some things you've picked up on while you've been here that have influenced your time here, I guess?
Yeah, academics and class size have certainly stuck with me. It's genuinely special to be able to develop a relationship with your teacher. I think majority of people at colleges just can't really say that. I know my parents, they certainly didn't have an experience like that. They went to big state school.
Which state school, if I may ask?
Oh, yeah, they went to Texas A&M University.
Okay,
so,
gotcha.
My gosh, that place is enormous.
Massive, yeah.
I think it's over 70,000 people now or something.
Yeah.
So very different experience. That's definitely stuck with me. That hasn't changed. And then Alumni Network has been extremely strong.
Yeah.
My job, my bosses, they both played football for Washington and Lee, and they opened the door for me and have given me some great opportunities. I think what I didn't expect, I did not realize or know how social this campus really is.
Yeah.
There are so many avenues in the Greek life and everything where you really get to make some great friends across different spaces and pushes you to be social and get out, which is something I certainly didn't really expect myself doing as much.
Absolutely.
But no, that part did not appreciate it when I first got here and has been a really special part of the experience.
No, yeah. I heard someone say last term, it was an upperclassman, but it was someone once told me that Washington Lee is a school where there's a concerted effort to get all these people who have spent so much time, in the books on the academics to learn how to socialize and have a good time. And they said that, that also just besides making our school, more fun, it's also for the benefit of learning how to network and connect with people. And it's definitely taken me by surprise too, the first semester. And the Greek life part for sure. I think we're 78, 80% Greek. And
yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And I know I personally would never have, gone Greek at a larger school. I think that's true for a lot of people here, but I think it's definitely something that sneaks up on you and surprises you because you don't expect.
Yeah. I initially didn't want to be in a fraternity at all. I was hell-bent on doing good in school and football.
No, yeah.
Thankfully, one guy on the football team pulled nicely and, a bunch of other guys kind of pushed me to do it, and I totally see the utility in that right now. Met a bunch of people I wouldn't if I wasn't part of that.
Yeah.
Just another social group to tap in and make some good friends.
No, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it's a very tight-knit campus all around, and I think the fraternities and social life are a big part of that. kind of moving over to the athletics side of school. Yeah, I mean, obviously very successful over your 4 years here. And yeah, just something that I guess, because you're in, again, winter term, senior year, some lasting impressions from Washington Athletics that'll stick with you.
Yeah, that's tough right off the cuff.
Yeah, big questions.
No, I mean, one thing I really appreciated. So I guess just some like background. I also was a track athlete here every season until this season, actually. Yeah, screwed up my thumb in the Bridgewater game.
Oh, really?
I used to throw shot put and discus. Not doing that anymore. But one thing that really stood out to me is I had the opportunity to compete at a high level with a bunch of extremely talented people, do multiple sports in that context, have an excellent academic experience, and be able to have a really fun social life all at the same time. Extremely busy commitments, but one thing that stood out to me is like, you still are a student first. That's like on par with high school. You still have so many social opportunities, and at the same time, you still get to play the sport you love and get challenged and go and compete, which is precious. Like you've only got 3 more years left of that, which is
it's crazy to think about.
Yeah, it is. So like, like sports have been a part of like my identity since 2nd grade. I played football since 2nd grade. It's like to be able to continue to play that was really special. I think what else stands out is that what's cool, especially about my class, you're pulling like our guys, like my class are from all over the country. So like getting to meet people from all different walks of life, that's been really special too. I mean, you just get to meet some really great people. I mean, like our team was really small this year compared to the last 4 years. I think we were like upper 70s.
No, yeah. But, and then the injuries, and we got down even smaller than that.
Sure. My freshman year, we were around like 94 guys.
Really? Wow.
And, I mean, like one of the guys on the defensive line was like from Sweden. And you just like meet all these super interesting people who are, like-minded in the fact that they, work really hard and they're really smart and driven people. And so you just like get to be around like-minded people, but also from very different backgrounds. That was really cool. And I think just like the last thing to round it off, coaching staff here has been great in both like my time in football and track. They're great people who care so much about the program. I think what's cool is like in high school, you have like your coaches are usually like either like your parents in some regard or like also teachers at the same time and everything. And like, I don't know, it's kind of cool. Is like you get to see these people who are professionals, professional coaches. They devote all this time to it. The level of coaching, I think just like it takes it up a notch. They're still coaches. I mean, they're like father figures in a way and kind of help guide you through a pretty transformative time in our lives. You're finally leaving home. So
becoming an adult, growing up. But no, you hit in a lot of things that I think are like important and central to the W&L experience. And then again, you probably have a better grasp of it than I do. But yeah, I mean, it's awesome to be able to play the sport we love. And like, I think, it sounds cliche to say, but like with all the professionalization of college sports, the NIL, all that, like, and I mean, it's just really refreshing. Like, because obviously 1 semester in, I was super taken aback by the quality of guys on the football team. Everyone on that team, like, they're excellent people. Like, there's a lot of really talented, really capable, really smart individuals who, like, it's crazy to see because, I mean, in high school, you're probably all over the place with regards to both football talent and, like, academic and all that. But, like, I think we attract a pretty, like, not like an archetype because obviously everybody's different, but, like, we attract, I think, really driven, talented individuals who are succeeding in the classroom and on the field of the football team. It's a really fun culture to be around because it's so many people who are so highly capable in so many different areas. Yeah, and I mean, the national thing, too, is awesome because, I mean, not to disparage other Division IIIs, too, but because of our academic pedigree, we're able to pull guys from all over the country. And, like, I mean, in my class, we've got guys from California, Texas, Florida. We've got 2 from Connecticut. Like, I mean, it's really is something that just helps broaden your horizons in the world at large. And yeah, the commitment to academics too is something that's stuck with me because, like, I mean, it's funny because, like, in a way it draws back on the ability to do football stuff, but not really. I mean, it's like, because we have the dedicated period in the evening for athletics, but like, I mean, our first semester, I remember guys, getting to the locker room because they've got labs, throwing their stuff on, getting out of the field, like Tucker every Wednesday. And then, I remember I had to, miss some late part of practice one evening to go to a lecture out of class. And like, I mean, you can look at that from a jaded point of view and say that like, oh, like God, it's unfortunate because they've missed practice or like they get their schedules are so tight. But I do think at the end of the day, it again speaks to the fact that this university is committed to dedicating athlete and the student, and we think we do a really good job of that. And like, I mean, people again, and athletics teams of all sorts here, not just football. I think we choose the hard route. I think we choose to have busy schedules because, I mean, number one, we like to do things. I mean, I can't stand like sitting and just doing nothing. But I think it's also just beneficial for us to have these busy schedules and learn to deal with all these things going on, both because it prepares us for life and to be better people in general, just to get things done.
Yeah, I mean, in regards to Washington and Lee being a unique D3 experience, I mean, I think, well, I mean, where do most of our players come from in terms of perspective and the rest of the athletes? I mean, they're all extremely talented individuals. Mm-hmm. Everyone has their own reasons for continuing to pursue athletics, but I'm just going to make the safe assumption most everyone couldn't go to Division 1.
Oh, yeah, okay, for sure.
All right, that's fine. Let's check that off. But I think, honestly, the majority probably had D2 opportunities. But then it's like, you're right, you want to keep pursuing a passion, but you also have to be mindful of your future.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Washington Lee really stands out, especially compared to a lot of the other D3 schools. I'm not jabbing them.
No, yeah.
They're a ton of really high quality educations across Division 3. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just especially through with W&L. So it's this an amazing opportunity. You get to come here, compete at a really high level, and still pursue all these other opportunities. I mean, we have every year there's a big chunk of football guys in the off season who, instead of working hard here on campus and keeping up with it, they're working hard in Spain for the whole semester and sticking together. And that is unique. And I mean, you could say, it pulls away from being here on campus all the time and being able to constantly be doing football and everything. But I just disagree with that. I mean, it's the same kind of philosophy as liberal arts education. You want to pursue all these other avenues and get tested in other ways, and that's what makes you better and more well-rounded individual, and that's just what Washington Lee pushes through athletics and its education.
No, yeah. I've always been struck by that. I think the commitment to developing the whole person here, and you can point to a lot of examples of that, but I mean, obviously the academics here, I've been over that a million times, beaten to death, but the honor system, speaking tradition, the social scene, all that, the university's commitment to athletics, because, for a Division III program, I mean, not to toot our own horn, but we have some very successful programs. I think women's basketball is 20-0 right now, top 5 in the country. And every year we're up there for those overall athletic program cups. And I think that it does speak volumes in regards to again, like you said, the liberal arts experience pushing us to broaden our horizons and experience a lot more than just what we're comfortable with. And that's something that I think is another really good thing to speak in favor of this school.
Yeah. I mean, do I think I'd be in a better circumstance right now or be more prepared for life or whatever if I had spent 95% of my time prepping for football and track 24/7? No, I don't believe that. And those still were huge parts of my time here, but I've gotten to pursue so many different things, and I'm better for it, and I think so are our peers.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Turning again to more athletic specifics, I was lucky enough to be with you for your last year here, and I'll say that last play of the game against Lycoming, you got that sack to end it in the bowl game, and that was one of my favorite moments of the entirety of last season. But, just wanted to ask you, what are some of the and it doesn't have to be an in-game moment. It can be just a moment in the locker room where you kind of, because I think we all have those, we step back and realize there's something special happening here. But I wanted to ask you if there's any specific moments or plays that stuck out to you from track or football since your time here.
Yeah, one for football, one for track. One that always stands out to me, it's not a game we ended up winning, fortunately, but it was my junior year. And the whole team traveled to San Antonio to play Trinity. And it was, great experience. We got to meet a ton of alums down there. We had so much support. A bunch of my family in Texas got to go to the game. That was really cool. Awesome. But by far, what I remember is it was a super close game. I think it was a one-score game, essentially all 4 quarters, and ended as a one-score game. But oh my gosh, it was like 95 degrees and 2 o'clock for the game, and
It's rough.
I just like the defense was on the field for 50 plays in the first half.
Yeah.
We were just having trouble getting going on offense.
Yeah.
We did better in the second half. So, like, we were absolutely just exhausted. So hot, and it was just tough circumstance. But I just remember getting back to the sideline maybe after play 40 in the first half, and they're like, we're burning up on the sideline, and everyone's trying to get us water and cool us off. And all of a sudden, Dean T, who's Dean of the Office of Inclusion Engagement at the university, who was down for the trip,
Gotcha.
She jumped out of the stands. And I mean, I thought maybe I was hallucinating or something, because then all of a sudden, one of the deans of the school was giving me water. And I was, it was pretty bizarre, but no, fun. I mean, one of my favorite games just because it was like so tough. But like just, I don't know. Those are kind of usually my favorite moments with the team.
Yeah. And yeah, for the listeners who don't know, Trinity University, very, very good football program. SAA playoffs, I think 3 out of the last 5 years. Very good Division III football program. But yeah, no, that's funny to hear. I'd never heard that story before. So
yeah, and then I guess for track, it's tough. Like, it's such a different vibe than football, because like, especially like my event, I mean, it is just you in the ring instead of like the whole team aspect.
I threw my senior year of high school. Obviously, I'm not the thrower you are, but I've been in a similar space, but at a much lower level.
Sure. I guess my most successful season was my sophomore year. I had a big year, achieved some goals I wanted to, and then probably last year I did not have, like, at least on the sheet, a very successful season.
Gotcha.
But I think being able to just appreciate everything that was going on, despite not having those tangible goals achieved and everything, I think that's probably what stood out. I think that's kind of what's important in that sport. It's perspective. It's a very mental battle. So, yeah, that's what sticks out to me.
No, yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome to hear. No, I mean, it's funny what sticks with us a lot of the time, and obviously you've again, keep saying it, but a lot of success for you here. I think everybody we could speak to would acclaim the fact that, like Will Knight's good friggin' athlete for Washington Lee.
I think I've just been surrounded by a bunch of great guys and great coaches, and half the battle is staying healthy, and do that for the most part. I mean, a couple of your guys for context, Wakefield is a center.
Yeah.
So we got to butt heads a fair amount.
Yeah.
But no, I feel very fortunate, surrounded by good people, and get the instant to happen.
Yeah. I wish when we'd butt heads, I would have come out on top a bit more, but maybe in the years to come, I'll figure it out.
No, you had a hell of a season.
I appreciate that. Speaking with injuries, I mean, I've seen Will play through, I've seen the knee, all that, the thumb from Bridgewater. I didn't know it was bad enough to cost you track, though. I'm sorry to
I mean,
hear
it's
that.
a thumb, man. If I had to let a thumb injury keep me out, then, no, that'd been a bad look.
But, I mean, it's just saying you're tough as nails. Like we keep talking about the balance of athletics and academics and career plans. If you could share with the listeners kind of what your journey has been in the classroom, and like, obviously it's a big question, but kind of where you were looking when you got here, where you're going now, and defining events along that way.
Yeah, when I first got here, I knew I wanted to do something in the seed school. I've always been interested on my own in just like markets and finance. My parents don't have that background, but I knew I wanted to pursue something. When I got to campus, of course, they prioritized that liberal arts experience.
Yeah.
I didn't get any business or accounting classes, but I did get a 180 econ class called AI in the Future of Work and Society.
Interesting.
So it was an Econ 100 class in the lens of how AI is going to reshape our economies. Very timely right now. I think that class was probably a little bit ahead of its time, but fell in love with economics, and more importantly, like the teachers in the econ department there. I mean, I know I went to office hours like so much freshman year. I had Professor Casey and Professor Goldsmith teach those classes, and I mean, kind of like probably launched me into pursuing a major in economics. Since then, I took a bunch of Latin American classes. One of my favorite classes here was my creative writing class with Professor Oliver.
Yeah.
I also took my writing 100 with him, Rebels, Misfits, and Outcasts. I mean, ultimately, I had all those liberal arts opportunities that I'm sure everyone listening had too. And then I've continued on with the econ major. Though I'm going into finance this summer, I'm working in investment banking for Evercore and their logistics and transportation team. So, and like I said, both of my bosses, the people who hired me, are W&L football alums. Got to actually meet them in New York first in a finance trip through the Career and Professional Development Office with W&L. Again, another opportunity that I was fortunate enough to get. And essentially, W&L has opened so many doors for me. I mean, I owe a lot to this place.
Yeah. I mean, it's a special place. And yeah, I mean, having only been here 5 months, I can already see it's going to stick with me and influence me in a lot of ways for the rest of my life. But I mean, again, congratulations on investment bank. That's very impressive. Me personally, still trying to figure some stuff out. But
You got time.
Yeah.
Lots of time.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I think what you said about being able to take such a breadth of classes and finding stuff that like you don't expect to jump out at you that does is something that's very relevant. I think a lot of people, maybe listening, I know I've experienced that so far. Because like, when I came in 5 months ago and said here 4 years, but I knew I want to do something in the C school too. I'm still pretty confident on that.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you come in for freshman registration, you always get like 1 or 2 classes that you're just kind of like, how do I get? That was like number 5.
What surprised you so far?
So journalism. I had journalism like the intro last semester, and I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that, but there's definitely some areas. Like I signed up for an econ elective because I AP'd out of the micro and macro like introductory class, and I just wanted to take some econ my first semester here to give it a try. And that's something that was super interesting to me because it was an urban economics class with a Professor Chester, and I just ended up doing a bunch of research and papers and work about like the urban structure of where I'm from, and that was something that kind of completely changed the way how I see my hometown of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Sure.
And yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. And on the journalism side, it was just like learning that I actually really enjoy it. Like, I really enjoy writing about, events. I enjoy like, we had a project in which we did plan an event for a town that was in one of the readings that was struggling. And like, there's just some stuff that sticks with you didn't expect to enjoy.
Sure, sure. And I mean, I just continue to kind of be impressed about like some of the quality of classes you get. Like I mentioned that one freshman year.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. And like, you're going to continue to get some really cool opportunities, cool classes. Like even today, I'm taking a journalism class. It's my first journalism class, and I'm taking it senior year. But it's like an investor relations journalism class with Professor Swayze.
Yeah,
and it's like just like the quality of education here. Again, I'm in a class with like 10 people, and she used to write like front page stories for the Wall Street Journal, and almost every class we've had a guest alum speaker in the finance field. Today we spoke to 2 members of the KKR investor relations team. Wow. This Wednesday we're speaking with the vice president at Citibank. So just like
that's insane.
Really fortunate. Also, you get like really cool spring term options too, which you need to take advantage of. Last spring term I took a class on Bitcoin in Buenos Aires. It was like so amazing, and I mean super cool to travel there, but learned a ton.
Oh yeah.
By Bitcoin.
That's something that's as well, because my journalism class was like 101, like the introductory class. And we had, people who worked for CNN, with people who wrote front page stories for the Washington Post, Professor Losi in the journalism department, people who worked for BET, and like to a 101 introductory class.
Yeah.
Is something that I never thought I'd have at this school. But no, I mean, it's actually insane. And I think something you said too about the small class size and the professors, I honestly do think that a lot of especially the honor system, that helps so much with maintaining relationships with professors. And in conjunction with small class size, of course, but it feels a lot like professors treat us like adults, which is really refreshing and nice to have. And the honor system is something that drew me here when I first heard about it, because in my high school, my senior year, I took my AP micro macro first period the whole year. And inevitably, whenever you have a test, you get hounded by people who are, they want to know what's on there.
Sure.
And, I mean, it's whatever. And a lot of reasons, like you just tell them, like, just go take it and you'll find out. But like, also it's just like, it's kind of annoying to live in a like sort of bubble where it's not really expected that people are going to conduct themselves honorably. And like,
sure,
people are trying to protect against that. So coming here and really saying that, like, the honor system is something that's real, it's alive, it's living, and like it's respected. Like that's been amazing. And it's funny to me too, because the professors that have been here, that I've had that have been here longer, all speak much like they're like, I have grown in faith in the system over time.
No, totally. I mean, I'm thinking about it in high school now, like every single test you have a teacher pacing around you, making sure you aren't cheating. I don't know, just like what environment really is that? And it's dramatically different here. I mean, it's not even a discussion most of the time. Like it's just a common understanding that, do your work and do it right. And you're here to learn ultimately. And I think having the honor system makes it really a better learning environment.
Agreed. And I mean, there's a million things. I mean, we could go through all the research opportunities, the trips, the spring term stuff. Like there's so many things that make it a good learning environment here. But it's about all I have for you, Will, unless there's anything else you want to leave people with for posterity's sake.
I have a lot to give back. That's probably what my biggest takeaway is leaving here. I like just from some other things I'm currently involved in, I'm now understanding how important it is in alumni philanthropy and our education here. I know that like they've made my experience here so much better. They'll make your experience here great. They give us a lot of opportunities, and I know that I've got a part to give back in the future too. This is a special place, and I've got a lot to thank for it.
Well, it's nice to hear. And I mean, with this organization, the Generals Redoubt, entirely alumni supported. There's a lot of, I think the alumni's love for their school and their desire to really protect and uphold our traditions, our values, our unique history, because we go on and on about the unique things this place has going for it. I think that really does speak to the quality of such a place that inspires so much love in people all over the world. It's inspiring to hear that it's inspired that in you too. And I hope one day I can like kind of look back at, my 4 years here when I'm in the same position you are and, feel the same sorts of gratitude and pride at all that you've accomplished. Because, I mean, if I were you, I'd be very proud because you've done a hell of a lot here. And
well, thanks. And just like, I don't know, any old man wisdom, because I guess I'm there right now. I'd just like branch out and pursue kind of any opportunities on campus. I think it's good to be diversified in your involvements here. You just get to meet some cool people who think differently than you. I think I'm better for it. Take advantage of this place. Ultimately, I believe W&L opens so many doors. You just got to walk through them yourself. Yeah. So, thanks for having me, man.
Thanks for being on. I'm looking forward to trying to walk through some of those doors myself. I once heard someone call you Mr. W&L, so I knew there was no one better that we could have started this off with.
I don't know about that, but I'll tune in to see your next one, man. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. And thank you for watching Generals on the March, episode 1. Looking forward to turning out a bunch more of these episodes in the weeks and months to come. Thank you very much.